just kind of filling everybody in a little bit. We met Eileen a couple of years ago um, through our company, and just her story has been so inspiring that I just know that there are so many people out there that your story can help Eileen. Um, she's gone through a lot of health issues, a lot of health problems, and so I'd kind of like if you would just kind of start from the beginning, like what happened, your first diagnosis, and just kind of start from there, and we'll just kind of see where this all leads.
That's great. So, hi everyone. So 21 years ago, after the birth of my third baby, I went blind 6 weeks later, and it started this roller coaster of health for me. I had never really been cognizant of health, but I wasn't abusive to my body. But I was subsequently diagnosed multiple sclerosis. I had a lot of ups and downs. Over the last 21 years, I have tried over 75 therapies, and that doesn't count each supplement I've tried. But during this journey of being lethargic, not being the mom I wanted to be, because as you can imagine, a young woman just dreams of, I wanted to be the fun house on the block where all my kids would bring their friends here and they would call me mom. But that wasn't it, because I was actually laying on the couch most of the time or hospitalized or in the doctor's office. It was a different journey for me. And anyway, so fast forward, I went 100% naturopathic. I really was hoping that that was going to thwart the disease and keep it at bay. That didn't work. I went 100% medical. That didn't work. They didn't have anything that would thwart the disease, nor did I have a quality of life at all. And so I found a balance between the two, and I had succumbed to the illness, saying that this is my life. And what that life looked like was I would lay on the couch about 9 hours a day, and I'd get up and I'd do one task and I'd lay back down. If I went out to the store, it was one errand at a time, because that's all I could handle because of my digestive and challenges that way. And they're traveling and all those kinds of things weren't even an option. So I just said, I'm glad I lived the life I had, and this is my new life. And then 4 years ago, Dr. Brett Brimhall came across a different type of herbal combination that has nothing to do with supplements. And he said, try it. And I did. And never ever would have imagined the life that I am living now. It'll be 4 years in November.
So
Yeah.
what has changed for you? What has changed for you, Eileen? Because you were on the couch for 9 hours at a time, and that was 4 years ago.
Yeah.
And so, what? Tell everyone what you told me on the phone just a little bit ago. What did you do yesterday?
So I'm a pianist. I actually went through college on a piano scholarship. I have a music degree, and I haven't been able to play the piano as the disease has taken control of my right arm, and anyway, I can't use it functionally very well. But I actually sat down and played the piano for about 40 minutes, and yeah, it's just a miracle. I just did not know life could get better. You always dream it will, no matter what your disease or what happens to you in your life. But I can tell you, the doctors, the neurologists, and everyone that's just, let's stabilize you and keep you from getting worse. There's never a hope that life can change. And
That's interesting, though. So your journey 4 years ago, obviously, when you first started, so a lot of people have huge expectations, like when they start on a regimen of some sort. Like this one is huge, and the way that it works in the body, you you call it's not a supplement, right?
right,
But an activator within our body. And that's why it works so amazing the way it does. But obviously, your timeline or what has happened in your life, it's been a gradual type thing, but it's been a cumulative effect. And so people have big expectations. Like if it's not happening now, then it's not working. So tell us about that, Eileen.
I wouldn't even use the word gradual. I would say this has been a rocket ship. I mean, honestly, and it's, oh my gosh, I just can't even focus, because it's just, I don't even know how to describe it, because I just went from having more energy to being able to drive at night to being able to sleep better. Um, and just live at traveling. I am now traveling not only around the country, but I'm also traveling out of the country, which I never would have done before. I would not have left my doctors. That'd be way too scary. Because what if I get sick? And it's just phenomenal. And I don't know even know if I answered your question. Sorry, Rochelle.
Yeah. Yeah.
No, I was just saying at first, I think people's expectations,
Yeah.
can get in the way of actually utilizing this properly and seeing what the long-term effects are going to be. Just, your body doesn't break down overnight. You just didn't wake up one day and all of a sudden you have it, right?
Well,
Whatever.
yeah, no,
With. And so,
if you look back, I can see signals that this was coming on, but I could ignore them because I could take ibuprofen, or in the beginning of even when of my diagnosis, I could take steroids and my symptoms would be at bay. But not until it got really big that I couldn't deny those anymore. And so, yeah, your expectations at the beginning, I all I can say is I used to think there was a cap on my health and my possibilities, and I don't even know what's my journey anymore. The possibilities are endless. It just is amazing. I can't even believe this is
that is so
the
exciting.
So what about, you had mentioned before the cost savings that you have had since starting SNRF2 activation.
it's insane.
So
So I got
tell us a
deductions
little
on my
bit about that.
taxes every year because of the high medical expenses I have. And so I went back in 2016, or 2012, now I've got to get my mind right. 2011, I apologize. I spent $40,000 out of pocket on medical expenses. That was with insurance, covering a lot. And
Oh my God.
now it jumped forward to 2016. After 2 years on the product, I was spending $11,000 out of pocket. And my health is exponentially better. I used to take 34 pills a day. My cupboard was full of just herbs, and I used to see the chiropractor 1 to 3 times a week, plus the neurologist, and plus hospital visits, blah, blah, blah. It's just not even happening anymore. So I not only have financial freedom, but I have time freedom, and I have health freedom to live life.
Wow.
That's amazing. That's huge.
That is, I remember seeing you the first time a few years ago, and if I can just say, so MS, and when you got a new diagnosis, and it's a disease that's very similar to MS, the NMO that you had told me about. But I remember, visiting with you a few years ago till today, and just physically in what I like the way you walk. I don't know if you've noticed this,
Yeah.
but when I first met you, you kind of drug your right leg quite a bit more.
Yes.
And the last few times I've seen you, I thought, you're really not dragging that leg like you used to. And so that's 2 years' time, kind of what Rochelle was talking about. This activating these pathways in our body, it takes time. And you've allowed that. And I know, like, you're very strict on, taking this NRF2 activation. And so that's what has happened for you over the years.
So true. I used to trip. In fact, I can't even remember the last time I tripped at this point because my foot would get stuck on things. And it's just mind-boggling. Yeah, my gait of my walk has improved immensely. And who wouldn't have thought? I mean, okay, so I didn't, so
And
three
that's when
days
it's
ago,
supposed to happen.
I know, right? So my arm, with the way it is, it's actually pretty numb, and I only can see blood if I cut it. I don't feel it. And the other night I came in the house and there was a mosquito biting my arm right there. And I was like, oh my gosh, I can feel a mosquito biting my arm. It's,
Wow.
I mean, it's just little things like that. You just don't even, it's just wild. It's just amazing. just amazing.
And what about the hot and cold water?
Uh, so that was the
Oh,
first thing I noticed. So 6 weeks into taking this product, I was taking a shower and I noticed the water was hot on my back and on my feet. And I used to shower on full hot because that's the way I could feel warm in the shower. And now it's on half hot. It's brought temperature. I didn't even know I'd lost temperature feeling in those, but my hands, I also have temperature feeling now in the palm of my hand and my left hand completely at this point. And then I have two fingers on my right hand. I can feel temperature water. So yeah, just never know.
wow. You know, that I love your story.
Thank you.
Every time I get to hear you speak and just share how this has affected your life and getting to even travel a little bit with you and see you be able to do that. Because aren't you traveling by yourself now?
Yeah, I know.
And that wasn't possible
Mine's
before?
it's a huge, huge step. The other part of traveling by myself wasn't only the physical endurance I would need, but it was also having that security blanket of having someone helping me. One thing that I have come to realize that when you get sick, it takes your self-esteem. When a disease
Yeah.
can beat you down so much that your self-confidence, it goes out the window because you are now being ruled by this condition of your life. And it's so cool to be on the other side of it.
Yeah. You are an inspiration. That's just the word that I just keep thinking of is inspiring. Because there's so many people out there that are struggling, and the only answers that they're being given are the ones that you used to have. And my understanding is you're not on any other medications
That is correct.
anymore.
At this point, I am not on any medications and I only take these activators that we are, plus 3 other supplements. Because what I found is that with the myriad of challenges that I've had through the progression of this disease, is that the activators and products have taken my symptoms away. And what I have left are my core issues of things I really need to work on. And so instead of just treating like the numbness, I don't do that anymore. I'm treating other things because the inflammation is gone now. And I can see what really needs help in my body to get better. And I have hope that
Yeah.
I know that it will. I just know that our bodies are meant to heal. And I believe it now. I
Yeah.
didn't believe it before.
And I want to tell everybody who's watching, or if you're tuning in, that there's no claim to prevent, treat, mitigate, or cure any disease. That's not what we're talking about here. We're talking about activating pathways within your body that already exist, that already do a certain job, but you're activating them. Basically flipping the switch, activating your body and telling your body to go to work. And so that's just all that this is. And so we have miracle bodies, and I don't know, this is just absolutely amazing technology. It's new technology. And you can, see firsthand what it's been able to do for Eileen for something that is pretty extreme.
Yeah.
And Eileen, what would you say for people that may be considering this, not sure what to do?
I would,
I mean,
I would say jump in because I honestly, if you want to ask me, I have tried everything and every supplement out there, and nothing was effective enough to change my life. It would keep me stable and pull me out of my ruts. And I would go for it and experience life in a way that you didn't know was possible again. And for
right.
people that
Because
are
if you don't have your health, what do you have?
oh yeah, no, right. There's a quote that I love. It says, if you have your health, you have 1,000 dreams. If you don't have your health, you have one. Because you can't live life if you don't have your health.
Wow.
You can exist,
Oh my gosh, that's true.
but you can't
Yeah.
live. And for people who are healthy, this is honestly the best path to stay healthy that I have found.
Yes, absolutely.
You know, and it takes time for, we're talking about a medical breakthrough, honestly, and it takes time for that to be adopted by the masses. And you being willing to jump on here and just say, like, you took a chance
Yeah.
you know, on doing this and reducing your medications. You talked about relapse, and so it. So I want to talk about the relapse
Okay.
thing just a little bit, but it does take time for something like this to be adopted by everyone, and all we can do is share our stories and say this is work. It's proven. It has been studied by multiple universities and organizations, which does not happen on a supplement, which is the term that everyone is familiar with. But if you would tell people about your relapse and
So,
well, about a relapse and how
um,
that kind of works and your fear in that.
so what I understand happens is that your body gets totally inflamed, and then my body, the way it takes it out is it eats what we call the myelin sheaths. So in a relapse, I have experienced blindness 3 times. My body can go to what is called a wet noodle body, where it just has no muscle strength at all. I mean, one time my kids put a Kleenex, just a Kleenex on my hand, and I couldn't lift my hand. But if the Kleenex was gone, I could barely lift my hand, and my fingers would collapse. And luckily, we had a touch tone phone back in 2009. And because if I put my finger directly onto the phone like that, it would just collapse. So I used to dial the phone with my knuckle. Um, Relapses, they can take your bodily functions, and that's not always a pretty or comfortable thing to have happen. My mom moved in with us once just to take care of me and the kids, because she was feeding and dressing me. And so for years I've said, just getting out of bed, feeding and dressing myself is a win. That is like the perfect day. Anything else is icing on the cake. And now I'm living in the icing. It's just so relapses, you just don't know how far you're going to bounce back. You don't know how deep you're going to go. But it's just amazing.
So you've been 3 years, no medication and no relapses.
It's unbelievable. Unbelievable. In fact, my doctor, my neurologist gave me 100 tabs of prednisone steroids that he would let me take as I felt needed because he knew I was very conscious of what I was doing. And that was my safety blanket. And I got rid of those a couple of years ago and I haven't even touched steroids in 6 years. So it's all positive. It's just amazing.
Yeah, it's amazing
didn't know
what
that.
happens when you just activate the right pathways in your body
Yeah.
and to see what happens.
Thank you to science.
Yes. Yes. Do you have anything else you want to add in here real quick? I don't want to
No,
keep you too long.
I'll just put on one more thing that so I had a huge challenge with my weight, with everything that's happened in my body, and not only the activation products, but all the other things that I've been on with this company. It actually has balanced my weight back out. And when you feel good, and it just makes a difference. And so balancing your weight has been a huge factor also in my healing process, which I didn't think that was possible either after being out of whack for so long.
Yeah. Now you're learning anything is possible now.
I believe it now. Everyone always said it, but I just didn't believe it was me. It happened for other people, but it never happened for me. And now it's so cool that, I mean, you just take one of the studies that have been done, like the brain protector for MS. Well, if it works for brain protection in MS, don't we all have the same brain? It's all brain cells. So you have to draw your own dots that it would apply to any person with a brain. And it's just exciting. Just exciting that there's something out there powerful enough to give us life.
Well, you are changing people's lives because people need to know your story and that this is possible.
Amen.
I mean, you are living, walking, breathing proof of it.
Thank you.
So just Thank you so much for being willing to jump on here and share your story with the world, and we'll just help as many people as we can.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Thank you,
Amy.
guys.
You're amazing.
All right.
Let
We'll
me
see
figure
you
out how to
guys.
turn this
Okay.
off.
Just hit we'll turn it off for you.
That'll be good. Thanks everybody for tuning in.
Yeah.
Let us know if you have any questions. Okay, bye.